right, so I'm Chuck Doerrler, and we're going to talk about rolling wave planning today. And here's the agenda, and what we're going to do is break this up into two parts. We're going to first talk about the foundation, and this is really more about, what is rolling wave planning in terms of a definition and some other techniques. We'll talk about the agile mindset and also developing a culture, a project culture. So if you're not thinking about a project culture, you really should, and we're going to talk about that. So that's part one. So the idea, get your mind together about how we're going to do this, and then the second part is really like the science, right, about project management. Here, it's going to be about the framework and how do we apply rolling wave planning. And we'll talk about meetings and action plans and all that kind of thing. So with rolling wave planning, normally it's a technique, and we're going to talk about today really as a methodology that you can use to run projects. And so it's a little more expanded than just like a technique. So we'll see how that plays out as we go through this. So let's get to our first. Change that. There we go. Okay. So let's define rolling wave planning, and we're going to use the PMBOK 6, version 6, as our source of truth for the definition. As I say here, it's on page 721. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just read the definition, and then we'll break down, well, what does it really mean? So PMBOK 6 says, and this definition has been in PMBOK 5, 4, 3. I started with 3 as a PMP, and I'm sure it was probably in 2 and 1 because this has been around for a long time, rolling wave planning. So let's get to the definition. An iterative planning technique in which the work to be accomplished in the near term is planned in detail, while the work in the future is planned at a higher level. Okay, so let's break that down. Let's look at some of the key words here. So, iterative, that automatically means, well, maybe not automatically, but it means it's kind of agile-like, because with as we know, if you're up to date on agile, then you know that it's kind of you're repeating sprints and things. So here we're saying, rolling wave planning, we're going to be repeating what we're doing over and over again, and that's the whole idea of the rolling wave, right? We're always going to be planning, right? It's like waves rolling into the shore. It's always moving, and hopefully it's going forward. So near term, right? Work to be accomplished in the near term. So near term can be, it's relative. Like, let's say if you have a 3-year project, maybe 6 months is near term. But for what we're going to talk about, we're thinking near term in 1 or 2 weeks, right? And we kind of figure out what we're going to do in the next week. And usually it's what are we going to do by the next time we meet. Hopefully you're setting up, weekly progress checkpoints, and we'll talk more about that as we move forward. And I say here it also drives self-organization. Self-organization is a real agile principle, and we'll see how we drive that self-organization and accountability in this. The work, right? It's mentioned a couple times, the work. So what is the work? The work is you need to have a milestone plan. You need to have a guide, like, well, where are we going with this with this project, right? What are some of the key deliverables, or where do we want to be over a course of time? But we're not going to put together a big detailed plan. But we need something to guide us to say, from the start to the finish, where do we want to go? What is it that we're going to accomplish at the end? Some sort of scope plan. You can call it a number of different things that kind of fit your organization. And future, right? Work in the future is planned at a higher level. So what we mean here, and when we say future, we're talking weeks away. Weeks away. We're not going to spend a lot of time worrying about something that's going to happen, in 2 months from now. We know what's out there, and we want to know what's out there. We know we have to get there, but we're not going to be planning about it. This is what makes it much different from waterfall, right? Where in the beginning you're creating some big plan, and it's 500 lines long, and it's 1,000 lines long, and it's an MS project, and you're trying to think of everything that you could be doing for the project, all at a real early time when you know the least about the project. So we're not going to do that here, right? We just want to have a general plan of saying, hey, we want to get from point A over there to point B. How we get there, we're going to do that as a team. We're going to do this together. We're going to plan together, and we're going to create timelines together, and we're going to get there. So the future, it's far away. We don't want to spend a lot of time, trying to create details about it because we don't really know how we're going to get there. Okay. So let's get to the other techniques. So we talked about rolling wave planning. We defined that. We broke that down. We've got a couple other techniques here. First one is progressive elaboration. And again, we're using the PMBOK 6 as the definitive source for the definition, right? It's on page 754. And so I'll read this out, and then we'll break it down. The iterative process of increasing the level of detail in a project management plan as greater amounts of information become available. So, what does this mean? I'll tell you, when I was researching my book, I found that some authors out there talked about rolling wave planning and progressive elaboration as if they were the same thing. Hey, you can use them, interchangeably is what I read during research. And that's just not right, right? I don't agree with that. Progressive elaboration is its own thing. It's really an input into rolling wave planning, and it's really about intelligence gathering, right? Meaning the more you execute on the project, the more information you know about the project, and in some cases it makes sense to do the next step, or it's obvious what the next step is going to be. And in waterfall, I've been in waterfall projects, in years past where, you created that plan and the tech lead would say, well, we just found out that the database group changed something, and they say, well, that's their problem. We're going to just continue our plan. They shouldn't have done that, et cetera, et cetera. It's like, oh my gosh, really? We're not going to adapt to that change. No. So in this case, progressive elaboration means that as I figure out more information about the project, I can plan better, I can make decisions better, I can adjust my delivery approach so much better, and it's really about the more intelligence I have, hey, the smarter I am about how I want to get from point A to point B. So this is a really tightly coupled input for rolling wave planning. The other one here is fast tracking, right? This one, I think if you're running any sort of project, you're probably doing fast tracking. So this is not really something about Agile or waterfall. It's just project management in general. But let's again, PMBOK 6. We're using that definition. I'll read it out.
Hi there. Hope you enjoyed that last clip. My name is Michael Malutis, and if you'd like to watch the full 60 minutes of that last webcast, while also gaining complete unlimited access to our entire library of IT learning, simply visit our subscribe page at greatpro.org/subscribe. Unlimited annual access is $199 per year, but if you use the coupon code LEARN2EARN, you can drop that membership fee to just $149. That's less than $13 per month for unlimited access to over 1,000 hours of on-demand career development, covering the entire spectrum of IT management best practices, including business analysis and requirements, software development, quality and testing, risk management, process improvement, project management, and even digital transformation. But your membership doesn't just give you unlimited access to our vast learning library. You also get free access to our mobile app, as well as direct access to our network of over 300 of the world's leading IT consultants, all of whom are dedicated to putting practical knowledge at your fingertips so that you can learn more and earn more. I hope you will join me in becoming a member of the Great IT Professional and advancing your career with us. And if you're on YouTube, don't forget to hit that subscribe button above so that you get notified whenever we publish new free webcasts each week of the year. Thank you for your time and best wishes for your continued success.